Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for being here this morning.
Let's go, let's go. Oh, let's start this show. King Roman News gonna come right through. Gonna give you that news just like you know he can do. Hot topics in your face, baby. King Roman knows his place, baby. King Roman News.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
6:30 a.m. Eastern time, baby. He's gonna come right on time with the news just for you. Celebrity news, politics, and local news just for you. King Roman News. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Let's go, let's go. Hey, let's start this show. King Roman News, coming just for you. King Roman News, coming just for you. 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. King Roman News, King Roman News.
Let's start this show. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, news crew. Oh my God, I apologize for being extremely late. It definitely was a difficult morning for me to get up and get the day started, but I'm here. Time check 6:50 a.m. It is Wednesday, June 22nd. We are here for local news and local news only. I want to shout out to everyone who stopped through last night during our night out. Thank you so much for participating. I had a lot of fun. He had a lot of fun. He hit me back up. Thank you all. Definitely. I learned a lot, certainly. Hopefully you all learned some different interesting things. What's interesting is that we may have another night out next week. So there's somebody from Bad Boys ATL who auditioned, who also I reached out to. So that might be coming. Look for that next week sometime. So I want to jump right into it. I don't want to waste anyone's time this morning. We got so much to cover. If you check the description box, I mean, these stories are out of this world, but we are here. Hey, Boo, good morning. Good morning to you. Hey, Voodoo. Yes, Voodoo, you came back. Good morning to you. B1, what's popping? With the sleep watching camera now waking up. We went right. Okay. That's what I said. Good morning, human hysteria. Hey, Diesel. Good morning. Headed to get breakfast. Oh, what you getting? You know, like this morning, I could go for some bacon, some crispy fried bacon. It was fun. I did. I had a good time. I can go for some crispy fried bacon. I was cutting that Tay live. Y'all was cutting up in the chat. Weren't they? I mean, oh my goodness. But I'm glad because I said some things, he said some things. It felt like we just got a lot of things off our chest. So, you going to the Waffle House? Oh, give me 2 Belgian waffles. And if they can do them like cinnamon, that would be amazing. And some eggs and bacon. Scrambled, no cheese, please. Bacon, crispy, hard, and extra bacon, seasoned home fries. Nothing, no cheese, no sauce, no none of that. Oh my God, I'm hungry. So let's jump right into this. Let's get this show started. All right. So First thing I want to do, our first five of local news is politics, stuff that's going on in the legislature, political news, stuff like that. So let's jump right into that. So the first thing I want to talk about is this nicotine. Biden administration moves to restrict nicotine levels in tobacco products. Now, this is certainly a good push, something that, have been talked about for a long time. They're saying it's a step that no other administration has taken before. It is one of public health. Experts say it would be transformative if it was enacted. They said there's a serious discussion between public health and the need to control the levels of nicotine in a product. They're saying it's powerfully addictive. Lowering nicotine levels to minimally addictive or non-addictive levels would decrease the likelihood that future generations become addicted to smoking. They're saying study shows that when the nicotine content of cigarettes is reduced, people don't seem to smoke more to compensate for the missing nicotine. Now, this sounds great. And I'm saying to myself, well, if it was that great, and if that's such the case, then why haven't we done it yet? I'm looking for the look. Well, the reason we haven't done it is because we have courts in America. And with those courts, people will sue the shit out of you. And they're already preparing that the tobacco companies will come together to not only sue the shit out of the FDA, but all the funding that they over the years that the tobacco companies have had to provide for, publications. They have to take a certain amount of their money from tobacco sales and produce public health information about the risks associated with smoking. All those signs you see on the buses, the subways, y'all think the government's paying for that? No, these tobacco agencies have to put aside dollars to also help offset the negative benefit of their product because it's become such on a public level. So not only is it the suing, but like any other thing, this is going to require some level of public input. So they're saying that they will have to issue a notice of proposed rulemaking by May 2023. They'll need to also take a year for public comment. And then after that, they're saying that Myers and the other tobacco experts, they'll probably begin to sue the Federal Drug Administration. And that could also take years and years of litigation. So although this sounds great, it's not an immediate thing, but do consider it. I think that it's something that will be of benefit. And, it also should push people who are producing cigarettes right now to maybe try marketing some cigarettes with less nicotine in it. Get people to become used to that. So if this does become something on the market, you're already there in that, and in a position to take hold. So that was the nicotine. That's what's going on with this nicotine levels in tobacco products. Now, y'all also know I'm giving this the side eye. We're in midterms. We're looking for elections. We're looking for a lot of support. And so, people are saying that this could be another way he's trying to buy the young vote, the liberal vote, folks who are, against smoking and tobacco, that youthful energy. Another thing I didn't bring up is you all know that we're all supposed to be having a federal gas tax holiday, right? And most states are having their own gas tax holidays where they're taking off cents from the dollar from the gas. Well, let me give you a little insight. The reason that they're not doing that at the federal level, or they're still in negotiations, is because the gas companies are saying, oh no, hell no. And if you try this during the midterm elections, not only will we fuck you up, but we will give money to the other side. So it's becoming a political bargaining tool. So I'm going to stay tuned to that and bring you all abreast of that next week during local news. I thought that was interesting as well. Something else in the first five for local news is this transgender ban. So recently, the International Swimming Federation voted to restrict transgender athletes from competing in elite women's aquatics competitions. Now, I posted this on my community wall, and I got the sense that folks were in agreement and consensus with this. So let's talk about what this ban looks like, because it's not essentially a ban. It's not saying that they, transgender women or men are not allowed to participate. But what they're saying is, like I said before, I said this before you all. So when I read it, I was like, oh, okay. To me, I'm looking at it as a person who's thinking about program general. It's not that they can't, but they're giving them criteria. And this is interesting because I told you all before, I said they're going to have to develop some criteria that really, really hones in on why you think it's not right. And that's what this criteria does. So listen to this criteria that they've enacted. So what they're saying is the new gender inclusion policy will go into effect on June 20th, 2022, meaning it's already went in. And they're saying that male to female transgender athletes will only be eligible to compete in the women's categories if they transition before the age of 12 or before they have reached stage 2 on their puberty tenor scale. So you know how many people that cuts out? How the athletes who are older now who have transgendered, clearly that wasn't a possibility when they were 12. That's why they're doing it now. This is for folks in the future. Does not impact or affect those who are currently in it, because clearly most folks have transgendered after 12. So it's a huge net that they just threw, and they casted a lot of people that won't be allowed to compete. You have to have transitioned prior to age 12 or prove that you were late in puberty and you didn't transition until, because their thing is once you begin puberty, they think that at that point is when your body begins to really grow into its biological parts, biological growth spurt. So if you have curved that by going through, transitioning prior to that, they think that you might be eligible to compete with younger or the similar women or similar biological men. Now, what does it say about female to male? Well, so what it says for female to male is saying that they will only be eligible to compete in women's competitions if their testosterone was used for less than a year in total. The treatment didn't take place during puberty, and testosterone levels in serum are back to pre-treatment levels. Basically what they're saying is they want to not be able to detect any high level of testosterone in your body. So if you're competing in this sport and you take testosterone, most people, they probably take them, if not daily, weekly, or monthly, they're taking them quite often. So if you're saying that they can't take them within, 6 months of competing in a year, you're stripping a lot. And then it says also that you cannot have started your taking testosterone during your puberty phase, which is critical because that, I guess, that's part of forming. So testosterone forming during your puberty phase, I don't know if they think that it sort of changes your biological nature, but I think for females transitioning to male, the testosterone does something a little bit different in their body. So that's why they're not saying that it's a certain age level. The limit is it's all about whether have reached the level of puberty. And so they're now going to, as a new result, they're going to develop an open category events for athletes that do not meet the governing body's eligibility criteria for men's or women's categories. And what they're saying is we have to protect the rights of our athletes to compete, but we also have to protect competitive fairness at our events, especially the women's categories. We'll always welcome every athlete. The creation of an open category will mean that everybody has the opportunity to compete at an elite level. This has not been done before, so FINA will need to lead the way. I want all athletes to feel included in being able to develop ideas during this process. Now, the IOC, also the International Olympic Games, also issued a statement after this. They're saying with regard to eligibility criteria for sex segregated competition, the framework offers guidance to IFs without being mandatory. The previous consensus statement published by the IOC for trans athletes and athletes with sex variations was also non-binding, meaning that they're not committed to any one standard. That's the International Olympic Committee. So my thoughts. I think there's some substance to this. I definitely think we need to have established criteria, but I like that open category where everyone can compete at an elite level, whatever your body type is, and you still receive an award that's still on the same level as your counterparts. And if you meet the criteria, you can still play in either the male or the male or the woman's categories. But I do like them establishing criteria because there is an added benefit being a biological male. I don't care what anyone says, but there is an added benefit. It is. you hit harder, you run harder. A lot of stuff can be stunted with hormones and a lot of different things, but at the end of the day, I do feel like there's a responsibility to level the playing field, and that's how I feel about it. I love my trans sisters and my trans brothers, but I even still want there to be some fairness on that level. I just think about my own children sometimes going and competing in school and stuff like this. um hey, cash apps and bullshit. I hate cheese too, baby. I walk past the aisle like I don't see how people do that. We didn't have any home training when we have company. Funny how nicotine is the focus. What about caffeine? Okay, because that's my problem. Hey, Miss V, good morning. Good morning. Hey, Brick Girl. I stopped a year ago. Best thing I could have done. Oh, congratulations. That's dope. That's dope. Don't come for caffeine, baby, because I'm about to go get running. Get me some iced coffee real quick. Biden and not Black Kamala are playing examples of failing upwards, and it is about who you know, not about your actual abilities or skills. That is true. Good. It was a huge unfair advantage. Decent benchmark. Good morning. Good morning, Red Wings hockey. Good morning. They need their own categories, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Now, the problem with that is it needs to also be equal. You can't just like open categories. It needs to be titled something. And I like how they said it's an open category for both men and women, not open category for trans men and trans women. Meaning, if you are a biological male and you still don't meet the criteria, you can now play in this open category as well as your transgender counterpart. So I like that as well. If a man who thinks he is a woman who wants to compete in sport, he should do it as a male or create a queer league. Yeah, as they should. They've been transitioning kids and children. Nikki Tutorial is a great example of children being trans. King, as a kid, I had girls on the hockey team. As we hit puberty, we don't want to hit a woman, girl aggressively. I understand. Trust me, I understand. Hey, mister. Good morning. Good morning. So, first 5, transgender swimming ban. That's where we at with it. The thing here is to watch how other folks take from this and what they make of this, because it's going to be something. Now let's move into another thing. Brittany Griner. Now, Russia claims Brittany Griner is not a hostage, but a lawbreaker. So this is what tripped me the fuck out about this story. It has made itself all the way up to Vladimir Putin's motherfucking office, his desk. So his spokesperson came out to say that, yeah, we heard the reports that the Americans are saying that we're holding Brittany hostage. However, this is not a hostage situation. So his spokesperson says, I would strongly disagree with that. We cannot call her a hostage. However, she violated Russian law and now she's being prosecuted. It's not about being a hostage. He also says she was coming to take part in sport in Russia, effectively trying to build bridges through sport, and that her detention sends a terrible message. And then he also says, I think it also sends a terrible message to bring some forbidden essences and materials for this country while trying to build some bridges. It is prosecuted by law, so we can do nothing about that. And so that's how they feel. Now, given that's the spokesperson for Vladimir Putin, I hate to say this and put this out into the world because I always want to be a positive person, but I see them either looking to have a trade with another person that we have here held, or I see her being sentenced to 10 years. Like, this does not sound well at all. He didn't get offered any kind of, we're looking into this, we're still investigating. It was literally, you brought something here that was illegal and we're prosecuting you. Oh, okay. It's sad and it sucks. And I knew this was going to happen earlier in the year, that this was going to be a political ploy. She was going to be a political prisoner. And it appears that that's what's happening. Now, let's talk a little further about this story. So we have the U.S. Embassy failing to keep Brittany Griner in contact with her girlfriend. So Brittany Griner has not actually spoke with her girlfriend for about 123 days. Her fiance. And apparently over the weekend, Brittany Griner had called the U.S. Embassy to connect the call to the States so that they could talk, because it was their anniversary. And she called 11 times and no one was at the embassy to connect the call. At all. No one was at the embassy. So missed the weekend call. Brittany Griner's fiance was devastated. I was distraught. I was hurt. I was done, fed up. It was such a big moment because this would have been the first time where I truly could tell if she's okay. Imagine the heartbreak. 123 days without hearing her voice, holding out hope for a call, finally get that call just to have it keep ringing. My heart breaks into pieces every time I think of it, but it's nothing compared to the reality BG and her family are enduring. Now, right now, so all of a sudden now there, the U.S. embassy comes out and says it was a logistical issue that was compounded in part by the fact that our embassy in Moscow is under significant restrictions in terms of staffing. And so when we have issues with the telephone system there, for example, the technicians are not located on site. In fact, they're not even located in Russia. They have to be located in a third country because of the onerous restrictions that the Russian Federation has placed on our embassy and its operations. So all of that compounded was a mistake. It was a logistical error, and we look forward to the opportunity for Brittany Griner to speak to her wife in short order. And so they've rescheduled the call for this week, and I'm hoping that they get to have the conversation and talk together. Now, shame on them. I get, what's fucking going on. So who's sitting in the embassy? How is this going on? So there's nobody in the embassy at all. What the fuck? Like, I didn't even know that. I assumed that we would still have some military presence in our embassy, given that we have, American citizens over there. We still have the Russian embassy, so I don't know. That baffled me. And shout out to her wife for holding it down. I can only imagine. They act like she had hard drugs. I'm sitting here thinking, like, for a vape cartridge, God, Lee. No women who think she's a man are fighting so hard to replace or compete with biological males. It is misogyny for these men to fight and try to replace biological women. I need people to look up China and their drug laws. She had a vape, not bricks of cocaine. You said something deep. I need a timeout for 30 seconds. I need people to look up drug laws internationally. Brittany acted like an overprivileged American. Please look up the real political prisoner, Alexei. You brought that name up before. Good morning, Poochie. Good morning. I really wish she hadn't went there with that vape. I would definitely have looked into it beforehand. I mean, this is absolutely opened my eyes. Literally, I tell you, like in the States, domestic travel, little vape in the bag, and you throw it on the plane, and they check it, and it be nothing. You ain't gonna catch me flying to Europe with nothing. I'm just gonna have to take me a what did I take last time? For my 12-hour it was a 12-hour flight. I took a whole Prozac and was dead. I was dead. Was it Prozac? It was something. My friend gave me. He's like, "You're gonna be knocked out." I was just mouth open and drooling. So yeah, I'll wait till I get there to do all of that. Okay, yes. And when I tell you I rolled over, I took me as soon as we got off live last night. I popped ibuprofen, 500 milligram, some water, and laid down. And I woke up like I ain't have no drink or nothing. I'm just dehydrated. Black swine, H-rap. When do prisoners get to keep in constant contact with their family? It is a privilege, not a right, to speak family, lawyer, and friends when in prison. I think that they hadn't ever established a call for her in a long, long time. That's what it was. They are making an example out of her. Yeah, they really are. They're making some edibles I'm going to eat beforehand. I'm going to throw all them bitches down the throat. So that's Brittany Griner. Brittany, we really here over at the News Crew and in the States, we really want you to come home. You're going to have a wonderful story to tell. You're going to have a lot of opportunities to rebrand yourself and rebuild yourself. Stay strong. And then in our first five is Stacey Abrams. So I want to keep you updated, okay? Because this is midterms is coming up soon, and everything is going to be on this governor election in Atlanta. So Stacey Abrams has vowed to raise the minimum teacher pay to $50,000 if elected governor, and she's certainly been on the move. Actually, her choices, she's chosen the other Senate representatives in for Georgia. She's endorsed them, and all of her endorsements have won. And so people are now saying that her endorsements sweep Georgia primary runoffs. Is this going to be the opportunity that flips Georgia? Now, I got to keep it real with you all. Yeah, this is great and it sounds good. And we always do this as Democrats. We always come running out here when we have one small little win and we just go, oh, she got all of. First of all, it was the primary. So they still have something else to go through before they even get to take the Georgia Senate seat. But it will have hasn't been done since I think 1988. 1992 is when the last time that someone was able to flip the Senate seat in Georgia. So, but they're saying that recent polls show it could be an uphill battle for Democrats to hold power in the state, particularly because Biden, the lead Democrat, has faced low approval ratings nationwide. And that's an opportunity for Republicans to expose and expound on when they're campaigning. So, but everybody is signaling that she is leading the race. They're saying that she's certainly a hopeful to beat Republicans in Georgia during this upcoming midterm elections. Now, she's put out a lot of different promises. She looks to raise the hike the pay of educators $50,000 over a 4-year period by giving them $11,000 more each year. She also would finance the estimated $412 million from the Georgia's budget. She cut taxes. She's also thinking about what was the other thing she was thinking about? She was thinking about maintaining Kemp's tax cuts that he also implemented as well. And that was sort of a way to keep him online. And so she is coming out as a winner, apparently, right now in the face of this election. I just don't want us to get too happy about it because it's still too close to call, and there's still certainly more things for her to overcome. The Democratic senators Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, they defeated their Republican incumbents to flip their seats blue during a runoff election last January. And the last time that was done was back in 96. So now you have her coming along, and her candidates that she endorsed, they also won. Now she's trailing Kemp by 5% margin, which is not bad at all. The most recent survey that was done back on January 6th is saying that he's leading by 46% of the Georgia's registered 49% of Georgia's registered voters. So I'm going to be looking out for her. Now, you know, most of all of the folks that Trump has endorsed, they have been failing miserably. There's been some small victories, but there certainly haven't been anything that's been noteworthy for him. And I think, frankly, what's damaging him is this fucking January 6th Capitol Hill hearing. Last night, I spent some time listening to it. I just let it play. And the shit that we uncovered, all of they were the people who were working around Trump that wouldn't do what he was saying. They were getting doxxed all over online. And these were Republicans, y'all. They were having their phone numbers leaked, addresses leaked, and all of the people who were wanting them to keep Trump in office were the ones sending them 4,000 text messages, calling their phone. They're finding this all out in the Capitol 6 hearing, which now you can see it was a really coordinated effort to drive these people from reaching out to your local senators to bring your ass to the Capitol Hill. So it's been a very interesting thing to pay attention to. And I implore you, they have clips where they summarize some of the hearings. Go check that shit out, because it's always good to see what they do behind the scenes. So you become less like, oh, okay, I know that sounds like a behind the scene tactic. So I implore you to go check that out. Now, can we just go ahead and just dive right into local news? It's so much stuff, y'all. It's so much stuff for us to get through, and I just want to jump right into it. So, all right, that was our first 5 politics that I wanted to talk about today. So make sure you pay attention. Nicotine regulation is coming. There was a transgender ban, not necessarily a ban, but it was just creating criteria and also an open league for everyone to play. Brittany Griner, they're claiming that she's not a hostage, but she's a lawbreaker. So we know that there's going to be some time guaranteed here, allegedly, not for sure. She also missed her call with her wife, but they're going to reschedule that. And Stacey Abrams appears to be leading the race in the governor race in Atlanta. However, we still have some time to go, and we know how Republicans are. All right. Now, so the last time I left off on this Sanford, Florida story, and I talked about it on Monday, and I wanted to get back to you because there's been some updates. So these white men in Florida arrested after allegedly attacking the black teen in his car. Now, I don't want to play the video. I don't want to rehash it for the sake of time. But what I want to tell you is that the young man finally came on camera with his parents, and they look you wouldn't even think that this child was doing criminal shit, because his parents were polished. he presented himself well. He spoke well. I remember the last video I put up of him. Somebody dropped out in the comments and said, why can't, these young men speak well or open their mouths up? Like, why are you doing that? And I said, perfectly. We got a video of him talking about this incident. So check this out. Look at and notice their mom and father in the picture. It's not just him. And which I was like, wow, I'm glad that we also got the father here as well, because that's important too. He's checking on his son as well. So let me see, where is the video? Okay, here we go. Sorry, y'all. Bear with me. And I'm gonna run and go get me some coffee.
Right here. Tell me what you doing. Burning out racing through my neighborhood. Burning out racing. You not to. I'm not in your face. Get out of my neighborhood.
So it says the two men were arrested after being accused of harassing a black teenager and damaging his car.
Burning out racing through my neighborhood.
I don't want to see this.
You not to. I'm not in your face. Get out of my neighborhood.
At any point, are you?
They could have gotten away with what they did if I wasn't recording.
So you know these two men were arrested. What are your feelings about the fact that this blew up over you all being in your neighborhood? And were you speeding or something? Was that pretty much it? And if you were, that doesn't justify the response, obviously.
I was speeding a little bit. Like you said, I don't think he should have took it upon himself to do something about that. I think he should have just called the police and let them deal with that.
I was disgusted. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I couldn't believe this was happening to my son. It was horrifying. I can't say anything else besides it. I was terrified and thanking God that nothing happened to my son.
Do you believe this was racially motivated, or that his skin color played a part in why he was treated this way?
There's no doubt in my mind that had he been white or of another color, that this would not have happened to him. This was definitely racially motivated. They were so upset. You can see in the video that they were angry. They were so upset, telling him to get out of their neighborhood. He doesn't belong there. Who are they? They don't own neighborhoods. Who are they? What do they mean? It had to be his skin color.
I say, if you ever get to the situation, you stay calm, you videotape, you turn your phone on.
That's right, Dad.
We have evidence.
Y'all heard that?
To stay calm, just don't escalate it. It shows that he was more calmer than the adults.
Y'all heard that? Absolutely. I 100% agree, and I'm so glad that his father offered that advice. I always say that all the time. Record that shit. You ain't gonna come up in my face.
Juneteenth is coming up this weekend. And a year after, it has become an official federal holiday.
Well, I hate these. So now, what has happened to these guys? They are, we haven't really heard too much about what has happened to them. So after both Hugh 61 and Donald Corsi were booked into Seminole County Police, they both were able to post bail, and they are also facing charged with felony property damage and misdemeanor battery for the alleged assault on a 16-year-old. Now, get this shit. So everybody was telling me that these two were wealthy individuals in their areas and all this good stuff. Well, come to find out, this guy, Howard, he was working at McDonald's. Okay? And I'm not talking about own it. If you own the McDonald's, you're not getting fired like this. This man got fired from his McDonald's job. And here's what McDonald's had to say about it. And I'm sitting here thinking like, wait, fired from McDonald's? We are deeply disturbed and disappointed by what we've seen in this video. This behavior goes against our values and is not tolerated. I can confirm this individual is no longer employed by my organization. I said, and you had the nerve to work at McDonald's and you running your lips like that. You got some motherfucking nerve. You ballsy as hell. Now, the other one, he was a retired officer, so there was nothing from him to leave from. Maybe they were friends. He was in the area, but this is what happens when you're an asshole. So I I'm glad that the parents held that down, and this seems like this is the end to this story, but I'll stay around to find out more. Now, another update is the Texas UVDALE shooting. Now, the Texas Police Department is under heavy scrutiny now because a report was just released that it took them 1 hour and 4 minutes before they got into the building to penetrate the shooter. And the report released by the Texas Department of Public Safety said that they could have reached the door within 4 minutes. Instead, they took 1 hour and 14 minutes. They're saying the officers had weapons, the children had none. The officers had body armor, the children had none. The officers had training, the subject had none. So they're saying we do know this. There's compelling evidence that the law enforcement response to the attack at Robb Elementary was an abject failure and anti-ethical to everything we've learned over the past 2 decades, especially since the Columbine massacre. Now, here's what's so funny. The report basically says that the criticized the on-scene commander who made the decision to treat the situation as a barricade incident over an active shooter scene is specifically to blame. Well, that person has come out to say this. This is the police chief. This is what he came out to say, you all. I never considered myself to be the scene's incident commander. I said, are you kidding me? I don't give a fuck if you wasn't the incident commander. Whenever you step on the scene as police chief, you're automatically the incident commander. You're the highest ranking fucking official there. What do you mean you're not accepting fault? Here are the victims, and I really wanted to place them here, but I'm going to share a clip because they actually describe, when you see in this video and you see how far they are, these motherfuckers are literally in the hall, y'all, like they having coffee and snacks, waiting on the kids to get out of class. I'm like, is there not an active shooter in the room? So this definitely makes me raise my eye at police, specifically dealing with active shooters. Like, as much as we need to be prepared, bitch, are y'all prepared? Like, when was the last time y'all had some training on active shooters? Because it appeared to me like nobody wanted to breach. Nobody wanted to go in the room. Nobody wanted to talk to nobody. Nobody wanted to do anything. So get into this.
In a state Senate hearing today,
he called the response by law enforcement a, quote, abject failure. He also said there were enough armed officers on the scene to take out the shooter within 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Wasted valuable time waiting for a classroom door key that was never needed. CBS 2's Omar Villafranca has the new information revealed today.
The director of the Texas Department of Public Safety blasted law enforcement's response to the Uvalde school shooting.
There's compelling evidence that the law enforcement response to the attack at Robb Elementary was an abject failure and antithetical to everything we've learned over the last 2 decades since the Columbine massacre.
Colonel Steve McCraw told state lawmakers that 3 minutes after the gunman entered Robb Elementary School, there were enough officers on the scene to neutralize the suspect.
That is crazy to me.
It took more than an hour to storm the classroom. He placed the blame squarely on decisions made by Uvalde School District Police Chief Pete Arredondo.
The only thing stopping a hallway of dedicated officers from entering room 111 and 112 was the on-scene commander, who decided to place the lives of officers before the lives of children.
McCraw said police were waiting for a key, even though he says the classroom door was not locked.
How about trying the door and see if it's unlocked? And of course, no one had.
Arredondo has said he didn't consider himself the person in charge, and earlier this month, he insisted, quote, not a single responding officer ever hesitated, even for a moment, to put themselves at risk to save the children. Some victims' families are calling for Arredondo to be fired.
That is
key.
We
were failed by Pete Arredondo. He failed our kids, teachers, parents,
that
and
is key.
city.
Colonel McCraw says his top recommendation is for more training. Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Uvalde, Texas.
The public safety director also confirmed that the chief did not.
So now we have it. It was a clear, abject failure on the part of the law enforcement agencies. All right, I knew it did not take 1 hour and 14 minutes to get into a building to take down a shooter, and we're not talking about a squad of shooters, just one shooter, and all of these fucking men are in the hallway, and it took y'all an hour. So I'm glad that the public health departments and safety departments are coming out here and doing their job. Now, why aren't y'all firing this man? Like, what the fuck? Put him on paid desk duty. Can he go and watch? What about walking kids across? I wouldn't even trust his ass to do that. Put his ass on attendance reports in the main office. He does not need to be. It's a clear abject failure. And the one thing that kills me is that normally in this position, police officers in rank normally want to get out of the way. They resign, they move on, they step aside, they have an internal investigator come in because they're thinking about their career. That's why people resign quickly. I want to get out of the scandal so that I'll have a longer career. He's still around here talking about I didn't think I was the incident commander. Do you know how dumb you sound? You don't think you were the incident commander, but you're the police chief. Okay. So what did you think? You stepping on? You might as well just stayed in the fucking office. So I think these people have a clear. I don't know if they can sue. I don't know if they could sue, but I think these folks have something clear to go with, to run with, to move forward with in terms of a complaint, maybe lodging a collective civil suit against the police department for their failure to act, and we're paying tax dollars to keep them trained and top gravy, and they respond like this. So I think those folks should hold the people accountable. Oh my God, 50,000 for a teacher. I assume they made more. Heck no, teachers are overworked and underpaid. Good morning, Kings Mina. My bad, had DMX on in the car. Okay, what song? Teachers make good money when they have tenure. This is a great way of getting a fresh new crop of young teachers. What about the test scores? What is the average of college attendees from Georgia high schools? Oh, that's a good ass question. What about the lady who was out there harassing him? That's a good point too. Oh, nutmeg, spice, and everything nice. Yeah, this video was crazy. Could have went real bad real quick. Some white people. Oh, the lady harassed, nothing happened to her. And so he had a white girl, which was his girlfriend, riding in the passenger seat of his car. And they actually took a cone off the ground and threw it in the window of the car and hit her in the head. She filed no complaints or nothing after that. Do you know how quick I would have been filing a complaint on all of them? Are you kidding me? Bitch, y'all going, something will happen today. Something like to get on my last nerves, Florida. Until we get our own hate crime bill, nothing will happen to them. Someone said that. They said we got our LGBT bill, we have our Asian American bill, and we just recently got now they're trying to work on some gun passage, but nothing for African American, Black Americans. I somewhat agree. Why should we stay calm around angry whites, but fly off the handle about the simplest things amongst each other? I agree. He probably worked in corporate. That's probably why he was so upset. He saw a young Black kid already doing better than him. Oh, VMW, you say he probably worked in corporate. Oh, okay. Because, I'm looking like, oh, okay. So that's why he mad. That's why he mad. Tracy mad. That boy should sue for PTSD. He ain't ever going to be the same again. All right. No, not at all. I wouldn't be the same. Yep. Growing up, parents lived in a white neighborhood and we always got looked at. Crazy police. Why isn't he fired? If you would like to thank you. Yeah, shout out. If you would like to donate to the newsroom, you can donate gifts to Cash at Roman L. Jackson. All gifts are appreciated, and I appreciate you all. Them mofos didn't even try to check the door to see if it was locked. This just doesn't make sense. Nope. The fact it took an hour for the cops to get to a 10-minute location says everything. Then the cops stood outside the school drinking coffee and saving their own children. No sense of urgency. Hey, Jay Parrish, good morning. They need to sue around I know himself. They were too busy arresting parents from saving their kids. I saw that. As I was preparing, I saw an article where this woman said that her husband had got arrested for trying to breach and go into the building to get his own child. I said, well, damn. So who's in charge? That's what I'm saying. If you are the leading person, they're putting it on you. How are you going to try to shift it to anyone else? His law career should be done, period. He can go and work in that open spot at McDonald's. They having coffee. Hell, they could have saved the kids by tossing the coffee on the shooter. We do damage with grits. Okay, and hot grease. Are you kidding me? And you throw a little flour, blow a little flour in somebody's eye. Put a little. You ain't got to put a lot. Put a little bit in your hand, and have it in, and just punch a bitch in the face. They all blinded by the powder in their eye. I'm telling you, when I tell you I be looking at shit and seeing how people be doing shit, bitch, I'll blow your whole eyes out. Fuck around, put salt in my hand and pepper or cayenne and just you be thinking you looking at me and you just fucked up. That's right. They should have stayed. Yeah, really, they should have. Thank you. Oh, that was sweet. Thank you. I'll be having to make sure my phone on silent too now. I am shocked that police chief is still alive. Could it be my kid that was killed while you drank coffee and donuts? They should have gave their weapons to the parents. Hell, boy, get rid of your white girl. She ain't gonna get nothing, PTSD or nothing. She ain't getting nothing from it. You saying those cops were fucking stupid? Yes, they arrested parents who broke down the barriers. They had better dig deep, taking notes, buy some flour to keep it in. Okay, in a little Ziploc bag. That's all. You see something about to pop off. I'm going. Let me off this bitch real quick. That's why I be looking at people like you never know what somebody's capable of. Baby, writing this down. Going to my kitchen. I'm just saying it comes in handy. You get a bitch quick because they don't know what's going on, and then all of a sudden they can't. They're in a distraught for like I'm telling you, got them for a good 60 seconds of blinking. You know how much damage you can do on somebody just blinking? That's why I say you hit somebody in their throat. That causes a quick reaction. Why am I here? I chose positivity this morning. All right. So that's Sanford, Florida. That's the update. I mean, that's Texas, UVDALE. That's the update. Now let's get into this story. I started it Monday. The Texas pastor. So he called for gay people to be shot in the head. Now, I wanted to get into, that's not all he said. And that's not the only thing he said. But I wanted to share in more details of what he said. So this is how it started. He started his sermon by saying, I'm angry this morning because our entire country is celebrating the worst sin in the Bible. A lot of pastors have this stupid idea where it's just like, oh, God loves everyone and God hates the sin, but loves the sinner. But people have taken this to such an extreme where they're saying celebrate the sin, not just tolerate it, celebrate it. Let me show what the Bible says about these people. And so he read all, he read all of the Bible passages that validates what he's saying. And he's saying, I'm not saying that every single homosexual that's alive right now has committed that act with a child already, because it could be they haven't had the opportunity yet, and they will at some point. I'm in awe at some point later in their life. This is why we need to put these people to death through the proper channels of the government. These people are not normal. They're not your average everyday sinners. They have no hope of salvation. So that's how we got to the point of him saying what they should do. So now let me play this clip, and then we'll discuss what should happen to him. Because I think he should be laid under a herd of bulls, and he need to be trampled over. Like, you need to have some meat on top of you and let the fucking bulls come just ride over your ass, bitch. Let's just do shoot for shoot. You want us? I want you. Give a fuck about you, bitch. The fuck? And if you said some shit like that to my face, I'm telling you now, call it a hate crime. I'm gonna knock your ass out. You gonna line me up and shoot me, bitch. You got me fucked up on your best day, ho.
Have a history of anti-gay rhetoric, and that continued on Sunday when Pastor Dylan Oz gave a statement calling for the execution of gay people. This is audio from part of that sermon.
They should be convicted in a lawful trial. They should be sentenced with death.
Yeah.
They should be lined up against the wall and shot in the back of the head. That's what God teaches.
Protesters showed up outside the church, including a mom who told our
right
partners at the four-star Telegram that the message is dangerous.
I am a mom of a kid from the LGBTQ community, and I am not going to stand for you wishing death upon my kid just because of who he is.
Oz quoted scripture, but Pastor Rachel Bachman of Oak Lawn United Methodist Church says his message contradicts the teachings of Christianity.
The gospel message is love and not hate. The real atrocity in what is happening in this pastor's sermon and what is being now, propagated to the rest of the community is that it's a message of hate.
What she says.
There is nothing that stands for hate in our Christian gospel.
Watauga police say they've received multiple complaints from citizens, but say they can't do much about it. They say the language used by the pastor of the church is likely to be offensive to many people. However, at this time, the reported language of the sermon appears to be constitutionally protected free speech.
Now I'm gonna stop there because when I saw this, I actually went to their Facebook page and I read through all of their thousands of comments that they had. And a lot of people were saying, so you're saying it's constitutionally protected for people to usher out mass threats at people for no investigation to be conducted. I said, so I can literally come out here on my YouTube channel and say that we need to line up all a certain demographic of people and shoot them because of the Bible. And that's not, you know how quick YouTube somebody can get me for shit like that, but you think it's okay here? Where, Sway? How in the fuck is that okay? What an idiot. And like I said before, the people that's going there following behind this man, I feel sorry for you all. I feel sorry that you even got space in your brain to consume these kind of thoughts. I would have rolled my eyes at him and walked out that bitch. I'd have made the loudest noise walking out that bitch, slamming chairs. I'd have been, going crazy. Are you kidding me? In 2022, and here's the thing, and that's why I wanted to say what he said, get it out exactly how he said it, because I'm not shying away from how people feel. A lot of people feel this way, and I'm gonna say it again because I have no umps about me and what I got going on in my life, but a lot of people feel this way that a lot of pastors have this stupid idea where it's just like, God loves everyone and God hates the sin but loves the sinner. But this part right here, you all, people have taken this to such an extreme where they're saying celebrate the sin, not just tolerate it, celebrate it. Let me show you what the Bible says about these people. So what does that mean about prostitution? What does that mean about strip clubs? And what does that mean about escorting services and pimps and you have these sex trafficking, all about that shit. So skip over all of that shit, because that's the real fucking crime, because you need to protect these young women and these young girls because they're the ones who's birthing your future, right? Not us gays. I can't birth your future. I ain't got nothing to do with your motherfucking future. And frankly, you ain't even in my future. But you know who is? The women and children out here who are being sexually trafficked, who are being prostituted and pimped out and all of these things, beat up and all of that shit. You don't want to line them up? You sure you don't want to line them dudes up? Because they're hurting our future more than fucking anything. Yeah, in the white community too, and all up in the hay hills with the fucking horses and shit, all of that shit. So but we're the problem. Okay, bro, you couldn't have me in front of you because I looked at you like you were crazy. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Now I'm not saying there are not homosexual men and women who do commit things that are very, very wrong. I'm not naive. But if you're gonna say throw everyone in that bucket and label all homosexuals and we're celebrating, how in the fuck you think I'm out here celebrating a sin? I'm very conscious and mindful of how I present myself because I always think at the forefront. I have little ones who watch me. I'm talking about my little family member. So in everything that I do, I think about that. So what are you talking about celebrating a sin? I was probably among the first few who said we need to slow our roll on all of this LGBTQ conversations in these cartoons. I feel the same fucking way. So again, I just don't throw everybody in that same bucket. Yeah, a lot of people are like Lil Nas X and we want to be out there on the front lines and woo and all that good stuff. But there are some folks who can understand that, but know how important it is to maintain some level of civility, some level of normalcy when it comes to raising a child, protecting that image. So don't play that dumb shit like, oh, we need to be lined up. Are you gay, sir? Are you mad you couldn't come out the closet? So you're stuck in a straight life. So now you're mad at everybody else. Do you want some booty or do you want some dick? Because I'm at that point now where it's like you're a little too pressed about what's going on over here. Any of your kids have been, what's going on in your life? Now I'm about to get like Monique. Any trauma in your past that's going on? That's where I would have been at. So what's going on in your fucking world, you asshole jerk? That's how I felt about that situation. Hey, Sticks girl, good morning. Hey, boo. Writing this down and going to kitchen making recipe. Okay, like rocks in the socks that will get you. I can't do rocks in the socks because my dog, I throw like if I go get him some special meat from the deli, I'll put it in a sock and tie it up and ball it up and throw it, and he'll play with that sock all for like that's a good 4 hours of keeping him busy because he'll be trying to tear that sock apart trying to get to the treat in the middle. By the time he's done with that, he'd be knocked out. So rocks in the socks, I can see Eli trying to eat it. But yes, I will definitely throw some sand, salt, cayenne pepper in somebody's eyes in the palm of my hand. If you ever see me go like this. and come out and blow, you better be careful, because I'm definitely choosing something. You right. You need to sign up for the Squid Games for real. These baby, I want to see somebody lose an arm, eyes, throat. Okay, already. IG nut. It's not the gays that bother children. They are usually the ones that will protect. I'm telling you, it's just so weird. The days of respecting disrespectful practice is over. They get hit too. Poochie, I'm telling you, a whole G that'll be outside. Like, so what was all what? Now, are you offering Bible study? I need a session, just you and I. We got to have a conversation, sir. Like, what are we talking about? God don't teach nothing like that. Especially, you're not doing this just keeping your own personal ideologies to yourself, because there's nothing wrong with you feeling that way. But you're standing in front of a congregation of a bunch of people who can be influenced, and you're spreading the word of killing. So now you point to your Bible, the one that you got in your hand, and you tell me, where is that at? Where? Because I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it. It's like Christians forget that we were fed feed to lions, quartered by horses, nailed to a cross for being Christian. It's like they forget Christianity was once outlawed. Very good point, B1. Okay. I need to add that to my toolkit. Very good point. Naries, baby, Naries. I hope you get a chance to catch last night's live. Okay. I hope you get a chance. Inciting violence. There's exceptions to free speech, but those extreme preachers are probably protected by freedom of religion. You're right. You're right. Good morning, Nate. You're supposed to be inciting violence against the devil in church, not the rest of the flock. The voodoo. Okay. People like him will pray for rapists and forgive, but condemn gays. Period. Oh, it's okay. You know, it was a moment to be so loud and ignorant about the homosexual community is very telling. What adults do behind closed doors is none of my business unless you bring it to me to comment on. You can protect your child without breeding hate. That's so true. One time, this church lady asked, did I need prayer for my daughter, baby? I showed her screenshots of text messages between her son and the local trans girl. Kingsman, you better stop. You're out now. You worse than me. You worse than me. So this is the Texas pastor. We have no, if he got hit by a moving bus, I don't think at this point in my life right now at 7:44 a.m., I wouldn't care. Moving right along. So in Florida, we have a driver who was being held. Now we're going to get into more of the crazy stories before we lead up into the murder stories. Okay. I wanted to slow walk us into this morning. So now this is a crazy story coming out of Florida. So this guy in Florida, he sells dogs. And so he got a lot of money. So on IG boasting, I got all this money. I got all these dogs, all of this stuff. These three guys are not even from. One's from Tallahassee, one is from Illinois, and another one's from another state. All met down collectively together, showed up at this guy's house to buy some dogs, broke into his house looking for the dogs. He said they were somewhere else, stole all this shit out of his house, put him in his car, made him drive them to the other house where the dogs was. Well, while the guy was in the car, he started driving faster than what the speed limit was, hoping to get pulled over. So he's driving, he's speeding. And finally, a police officer pulls him over. So now he's in the seat looking like, and the reason I want to bring this up was because we never know if some shit like this happens to us. So what do you do in situations like this? Well, here's the story. So he is looking at the police officer like, and the guys in the car had already told him, if you say anything, we're just going to shoot you. We'll go to jail, but you'll be dead. So he's trying to keep quiet. So the guy eventually just fucking breaks down. I'm being held. And so the police officer draws his gun, pulls his gun out the holster, and asks everybody to get out the car. The man flew out the car so quick, and then the other three guys got out the car. So they call other police officers to come and help him in this moment. Now, the police said the reason he really pulled him over is because the guy had a look of despair on his face when he pulled over next to him. They're saying that they arrested the 22-year-old from Atlanta, a 25-year-old from Buffalo, New York, a 22-year-old from Tallahassee. They were arrested on charges of kidnapping, carjacking, armed burglary, home invasion. The men claim that they are part of a group called the Israelites and only wanted to come to Florida to hang out with some bitches. They will now go from the Martin County Jail to the St. Lucie County Jail, then to state prison. They all got together to go to jail, basically. Let's just go to jail. And how we're going to get there? Let's go do this. So I took away from that. When you are doing that, speed your ass up. And he did it perfectly. He sped up only 15 miles over the speed limit. It was a 40-mile-per-hour zone. He was going like 55. The guys in the car couldn't really tell, but he was going that much, and they finally caught him and pulled him over. So if you could do anything like that, I started thinking like, why don't you turn on like your flashers? But I kept thinking like most cars, they make noise on the inside, like, so that could be a telltale sign too. So it was a very interesting story and came out of Florida. So this next crazy story, this is a crazy story and it's not funny at all, but it's crazy because you'll see why. So this guy raped this 16-year-old girl. Now in Louisiana, it's against the law to have sexual relations with anyone under the age of 17. So clearly it was against the law. Under Louisiana law, no one under 17 can legally consent to sexual intercourse. So in 2005, this man assaulted this woman at the age of 16. He was 30 years old. Okay. And so she ended up having a child. She went back home to her parents. She ended up getting pregnant. She explained she didn't want to tell anybody because she didn't know what would happen to her. She told everybody that it was her boyfriend and they believed her. Well, in 2011, the guy found out that she had a child and it was by him. So he decided to pursue custody. Well, they gave him custody. They gave him 50% custody of the child. And so she got 50% custody of the child. She then, in summer 2015, she decided to press charges against him for that rape that happened in 2005. Well, the charges were dismissed because the charges against him were dismissed because they said, because she said that she didn't know she had the option at the time to pursue rape charges. So they were dismissed. And shortly thereafter, you all, the custody of the child was given to the father because apparently she gave the young daughter a cell phone to play with. And I guess that was a violation of their custody rules, that the child cannot be playing with anyone's cell phone. And he allegedly found out, called the courts. The courts took the child from her. Now the child is in care with him, and she has to pay him child support every month. Now, I'm going to play her telling this story. I just wanted to give you some background. Then we're going to come back because I have so many signs and shit. Oh, let me give you more details. The man, he owns this company that does printing and marketing and shit. Well, guess who his biggest client is? The motherfucking police department. So she thinks that it's a conspiracy between him and the police department against her during this whole fucking time. I said, how in the world do y'all get yourselves caught up with these men that be, what? No, girl, you couldn't just go get her. I mean, how, what? So we'll get into this. And again, it's a rape charge. She's saying that he raped her. For the slowness of it all.
Tonight, one of the most twisted stories we have investigated yet. A woman raped, becoming pregnant, and now in a fight over custody of the child with the father.
The bizarre chain of events unraveling in Tangipahoa Parish. Chris Nakamoto and the investigative unit with this insane story.
The outrageous case has people we talk to flabbergasted. They don't understand how something like this could happen, but it did. And tonight the victim says she wants to see her perpetrator prosecuted.
He offered to bring me home that night because my friend wanted to leave early.
Krista Abelseth knows all too well about overcoming adversity. The 32-year-old is the mother of a 16-year-old who we are not naming or identifying because she's a minor. She was also born from a rape.
It was a 30-year-old man and I was 16.
Abel Seth recalls meeting this man, John Barnes, at a bar in Hammond back in 2005. He offered to take her home.
Instead of bringing me home, he brought me to his home. And once inside, he proceeded to rape me on his living room couch.
Abel Seth did not know Barnes before that night, but came away from it pregnant.
Everybody else just assumed it was from a boyfriend, and I just let them believe that.
Abel Seth had a healthy baby girl, and everything was fine until John Barnes learned sometime in 2011 that he might have a daughter.
When my daughter was 5 years old, he found out about her. And once he found out about her, he basically pursued custody and wanted to take her away from me. And they granted him 50-50 custody, despite the fact that it was caused through rape.
This DNA test is part of 4 documents that show with 99.97% probability John Barnes is the child's father. Problem is, Barnes was 30 years old and Abel Seth was 16, making it illegal even if it were consensual. Abel Seth maintains it was never consensual. 7 years ago, in July of 2015, Abel Seth pressed charges against Barnes. This report she filed with the Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office for simple rape details everything that was done to her.
Why did it take you so long to call it? Well, like I said, I was young and I didn't know the law at the time. I didn't think I had any more time to do it. I thought if I didn't do it right after it happened, like the next day, then there was nothing I could do about it. And like I said, I went to that trauma counselor and he informed me, no, you have 30 years after you turn 18.
From 2015 until now, nothing has happened with the report, and the sheriff's office tells us it's still open.
It was never assigned to any detective and nothing was ever investigated.
A quick search of John Barnes shows he owns Gumbo Digital Branding, a web company in Ponchatoula. Barnes' website shows the police department as his client.
Court records in the Tangipahoa Parish Courthouse show John Barnes admitted in June of 2011 that he's the biological father of the child. This year, he was granted full custody of that child, even though a criminal complaint was filed against him in 2015. Mysteriously, those records are under seal, hidden from public view.
When I found out that she was a rape victim and found out that this rapist could potentially get full custody, that was when I stepped in and said, no, something has to be done about this.
Stacey Trish works for the nonprofit Save Lives. She's hoping.
Baby, when I tell you this story had me like, what the fuck? This has corruption written all over it. Now, the very first mistake, and we have to say it and she has to own it, is that she should have told her parents or told whomever was her power of, her responsible adult that she just was raped. If it wasn't consensual or anything like that, you should have told someone that happened to you. Certainly you were afraid, scared, you didn't know what happened. All of those feelings, I don't know, I can't put them on you, but and then you became pregnant, and so it's like there was 9 months of where's the father, what happened, all of those things. And I mean, there had to be some kind of conversation. I know folks aren't that slow to ask. I mean, I know me as a cousin would have been saying, so where he at? So y'all just stop talking? Where you meet him? Oh, okay. Wow, is he gonna show up? Like all of those, and I'm not putting it on her, but I'm just saying how it comes off as if that was the earliest mistake. So then you have your child, and you're raising your child, and somehow he finds out. Now, y'all know how I feel about these somehows. How did this man find out? Was he looking at your? So did you keep in contact with him still? Did y'all have social media friends? How did you run into him in the city and chatter got like what's going on here? Those are critical components. Normally you hear a story later he was online and he saw a picture of her holding a baby and he thought it was his. You don't just he found out. Girl, how he found out? How? That's what I would wanted to know. Not putting the blame on you, but just trying to figure out more about the story. So now he found out and he goes to the court to get custody. So at that point is not the time to say this was rape. while you're right there at the court, this was all rape. Like, no one added the age up of the baby during the trial at the court. Like, okay, so you said you had this child and you were 16 and you were 30 and you want cut. Nobody said nothing, because y'all say even if it's consensual, it's still illegal. So at that point, nothing happened. Okay. So now let's fast forward to 2015. Then she goes to actually file the rape charges on you after realizing that she had up to 30 years and no detective assigned. Nothing happens. Now let's forget that. Then in 2022, somehow, some way, he finds out that your daughter was using a cell phone, and the child is then, now mind you, she's 16. I don't know why she can't use a fucking cell phone, but she uses a cell phone, and that's enough jurisdiction, enough reason for you to lose custody after you've had this child for all of those years. If this doesn't have Lifetime movie written all over it, this is a fucked up situation to be in. And this is why it's always important to be very, very, very upfront as much as you possibly can from the onset. The further out it goes, the further people have time to come up with shit. I'm sure he spent a lot of time working with the police, giving them free work, getting his way in, schmoozing his way to the top, and now we have this. It is definitely, I feel so sorry for her. This story right here, crazy gang. What boy? Okay, that's fucked up. She should unalive his ass. I couldn't live in America. Wow. She better consult outside help for everything on this case. She really should. No, literally, Shante, you hit the nail on the head. She better make sure that everything is done on the out and not on the end. Absolutely. Those dang old Louisiana laws, old French laws. That's what it is, VMW. Because I was sitting here thinking, like, okay, she need to call Joe Bug and them. How could you dismiss a rape charge? If they look at the timeline, it shows that she was underage and he's been proven to be the father. Clearly, while the pedo gets custody of the child born of rape, believe her, me too, yet this is a clear case of child abuse and her character is in question, not the 30-year-old man who slept with her. That's the point. That's the thing. This is insane. America half-ass backwards. I hate that she waited. Voodoo, that was my thing. And as a man, I never can understand or would ever grasp what that feeling is, but I can honestly say, looking at this clean slate, not knowing anyone, that was the earliest mistake. Just not feeling comfortable enough to just say to your parents or whomever that this is what happened. This is what happened to me. I think that would have been your okay. We can, because I know you don't know how, what you did, what, and blah, 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 and all of this and the third. You don't know how a parent may respond. That's why it's always best to be open. Like my TT was very open with me, allowed me to just share it was my grandmother. My grandmother was like my open. I used to do the S kits and the Jerry curls. I used to get it from my grandmother. I used to everything I would do with my grandmother and not my TT, because my TT was more traditional conservative. And I think it's important to have someone like that in a child's life. The parent might not necessarily be that person, but a nanny or someone that your child may feel comfortable enough going to say, hey, something ain't right here. Because in those 9 minutes of you carrying a child and you're 16, nobody was like, wait the fuck up. Who was he? I know I would have been like, girl, who the dad? You 16, you underage. What's going on? So, and I don't want to put it on her, but I'm just thinking about all the elements of this. Insane is an understatement. Underage people can't consent, period. She need Lorena Bob his ass. Not chop it off. How could they trust with her? She's around the same age her mother was when the man. Shantae, I didn't even get to that point. And that's the other thing. So at the prime age of 16, you turn this baby over to the father who raped her. He's connected with law enforcement. Oh, okay, makes sense. The cops are definitely on his side. He's a predator. Very true. It's hard to tell those kind of things sometimes. Where's the boyfriend? He just went along with it. How did he find out she had his baby? Listen, there's definitely a cover. Why was she at a party with grown men? She has a shady history herself. He is a creep, but she is not too bright. Okay, as long as I ain't the only one over here, he was probably checking up on her or had been. They don't live in a big town. That's the thing. That's why I'm saying there's holes in this story. there's only so much you can just facade. There's definitely holes in this story. Like, how in the hell? What? And why is it an issue she gave her daughter a phone to play with? And how did he find that out? How was he snooping? Did you like you probably let me shut up. Something ain't right in this lifetime for sure. No telling what he'll do to his own child. She's the age her mom was when he committed the crime. Where are her parents and grandparents? The same place they was when she came home and was pregnant for 9 months. Like you ain't sitting up over here pregnant for 9 months, and I ain't got all the details, baby. Let's, you hungry? You need a meal? I'll cook you something. We can talk. We're gonna have to have a conversation or something. That whole police department needs an internal review. He doesn't just have the help of one person in that office. That is so true. That is so true. So we have a rapist being paid child support over in Louisiana. I'll stay tuned to see how she comes out on this. All right. Next story I want to get into is Idaho. We haven't really covered much in Idaho, but so now before I jump into this story, and I'm going to play I'm going to play the actual footage of this police officer. So you know how police officers have badges on them. They have the body cameras on them. And sometimes they forget they have them damn cameras on them and they're recording. And what I've learned now after having this news crew and doing this channel is that sometimes the body cameras don't let the police officer know that they're on and recording because some of them are ran automated. They don't record everyone's entire shift. Some people might be recorded entirely because of the area they go in. Someone might get have recording because they might call it in a shooting. It might trigger for their body cam to be on. So it's not like it's always on for some jurisdictions, and others that are large, that have the money, the manpower to do that, they have them on. But in these smaller communities, not everyone's body cam is on. So we have these two police officers. They were called to a scene. Now, we talked about this before when a mother, a father, a significant other, or someone calls the police and says, hey, I have a family member, I have a son, a child, a daughter, a mother, a friend that's over here acting crazy, mental health, waving a knife. I need you to come help us. We talked about how it's important for a police officer to understand mental health cues and how to approach the situation and deal with it the right way. Now we have Idaho. So here in Idaho, we have two police officers who showed up on a scene after a sister called that her brother had been acting erratically with a knife and he was outside. So they pull up on scene. They're talking to him. They're trying to get him to put the knife down, all this good stuff. And he doesn't put the knife down. So they're about 10 feet away from him. I wanted to say that visually and carefully, 10 feet away from this man. He turns around to them with the knife up like this and says, I couldn't get it out. We'll watch it on the video. And they blaze this man, both of them, excessively with shelling, just shoot him. And then after they're done, get into what they say on the end of the camera. Get into what they say. So here we are. Idaho officer after fatal shooting says, guess I'm going to lose my gun again. I said, really? Again? Y'all getting bolder and bolder. It's like it don't matter anymore. Y'all motherfuckers are just bold as hell. This is unacceptable. Again? What happened the first fucking time?
Show me your hands, Michael. Show me your hands, Michael. Show me your hands, Michael. Drop the knife. Yeah. Drop the knife. 015. We got one against one. Drop the knife, Michael. Yeah. Drop the knife. Yeah. Drop the knife, Michael. Michael. Yeah. Drop the knife, Michael. Michael, drop that knife, dude. Shoot me. Just talk. No, we don't want to shoot you, man. We don't want to shoot you, man. Just talk to us. What's going on? What's going on? Get away from the window. Don't, Michael, drop the knife, dude. No. Michael, don't. Blue Arc 2015, shots fired. $2015 Clearwater, shots fired.
Stay back.
You got cover? I got cover. I got cover. Michael, can you hear us? Michael, talk to us if you can hear us, man. Man, please stay inside, okay?
Will you talk to her?
Me?
Will you talk to the family? Thank you. Why did you do that? I guess I'm moving my gun again.
Me too. We didn't have a choice.
No, you didn't give us a choice. I mean, not a good one.
No, not a good one at all. Sometimes it's only bad and worse. So I guess we're getting time off, or how's this going to work? Because this is my
ISP comes out.
Okay.
And we'll go back to the office. We'll give them all our clothes and our weapons.
Okay.
And they'll take over the scene. They'll interview us within a day or two, but not tonight.
Okay.
And then we'll be off until we are cleared for duty. So after we get interviewed,
Okay.
then we'll be set up for psych eval. And then after we're cleared by that, then we can get back to duty.
All right. Are they going to pay us at least?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, I got bills to pay.
I understand. It's paid. It's a
Now, news crew, did you all hear the conversation that was happening after this man just got shot in Idaho? Did y'all hear that shit? When I heard it, I said, you've got to be fucking. They literally walked through the entire process of how are we going to be taken care of? Fuck this man, his life, what we were called here for. How are we going to be fine? What they're going to do? They're going to take our I learned the whole fucking process from this shit. That could have been a training video for all I care. Are you kidding me? She literally, this is her second time shooting someone and fatally shooting someone. They're saying that she shot when after a traffic stop back in 2019, she allegedly and was cleared from fatally shooting someone who potentially pulled out a weapon on her. So this is her second time. The first time she was cleared. So now we're here. And then you have on camera this. Now this happened in May. The only reason this footage got released is because the family, mind you, the family is in the house right there. The family was sitting in the house who called the 911 to say, hey, my son is having a mental health episode. Come check on him. And from that, their son is dead outside. And so they filed a lawsuit. From that lawsuit, I told you, I love when people file lawsuits because even if you win or not, it's from the discovery. The discovery, deposing, getting videos, getting footage will help you build a case. And so the discovery that they got was this video footage, body cam video footage of what actually happened. And this is the evidence they have. I'm like, why don't we ever have shit like this in our fucking war chest? You know, we do have a lot of footage that's coming out to help us, but this was great to have this on camera, have them saying this. Are we going to get paid still? Yeah, I got bills. Yeah, I'm gonna get paid. Yeah, you're gonna get paid. I understand. Like, this is not a brush off over situation. Are you fucking kidding me? And this is why I'm not saying that we go out into the world and we are, less empathetic to police officer, but this is certainly why we need to be very mindful of their people too. They're humans too. They think like us. No matter what badge of honor they wear, they think just like us and they act just like us. Rest in peace to what was his name? I want to get his name right because his name was Trappit. Michael Trappit. Rest in peace to Michael Trappit. Condolences to his family. I hate the fact that y'all had to watch y'all son lose his life like this. And I hope these police officers have unpaid duty just for the sake of it needs to be investigated and you all need to be proven that you need to be paid or not. Like, I don't understand how you can just, but I guess they are in a union and they have labor laws that guide, that sort of protects them from being fired without pay. So at least remove them from duty. Both of these officers need to be removed from duty. So at the moment, currently, they are, let's see, the man's family filed a federal lawsuit against the county sheriff office back in May, alleging excessive force. Shortly after the shooting, Brocop, the female, had been placed on administrative leave, and they both have been cleared of any wrongdoing, and they have returned to duty. So I hope their lawsuit gets them some victory here. You all please be mindful, because these police officers, they clearly are, they don't care. I wanted to answer this question. I saw that. Where's the boyfriend? He just went along with it. No, she never had a boyfriend. She just told them it was from a boyfriend, and they're no longer together anymore. And I'm sitting thinking, how can that just be the answer? Can we meet his family? I mean, he just gets to go away? The fuck? How did he find out she had his baby is a question. There's a definite cover-up. No telling. That whole police department. Okay. Hey, Joe. Good morning, Joe. Joe. Good morning, Joe. My first grandson tells me everything. Sometimes I'll be like, King, but I listen. I love it. Her family thought the boyfriend was the father, right? Her family, yes. This make-believe boyfriend that was never around visibly at all. I feel she got low on money and confronted her rapist. The predator paid for the child in private, but I think blackmail and greed are the best of her and the family. The story. B1, get out of my brain, because I definitely was thinking the same thing. If they don't do a full sweep of all these motherfucking police departments, okay, this is a mess. How many times he have to shoot? Well, he did ask for suicide by cop. They ain't gonna get nothing but a slap on the wrist. Also, be aware that most police departments have a third-party company handling the footage, which means that it can be manipulated. That's true, Nate. Wow. Michael literally looks like a Pookie. A stun gun would have done the job. Knife versus gunfight. Did I have yeah, I did have a picture of him, and this is him. I mean, clearly he looks like, to me, I would look at him and say he just the mouth alone gives off mental health. Sometimes when you don't brush your teeth, you can give off mental health. Just by that has to be a mental health issue for you not brushing your teeth. They already know we'll only face backlash because of public image and nothing else. Sick. Do you hear me? Period. So y'all aware that y'all doing this ish. Okay. Do you hear just sitting there having a whole conversation? Excessive force. They both need to be charged with murder, lose their pension, and serve prison time. The family needs to sue, make them pay for their stupidity. Wow, this is so sad. Hey, Sticks. I think I said hey. I'll just be, hey, Sticks. This is sad for so many reasons. Why didn't they use a taser? A taser? Why didn't you call additional officers? Michael, can you hear us after we lift you up? It's I guess we getting time off for me. I think they should face the death penalty. Send them to home to glory. Understand that this is the thinking of police officers when you hit the streets to dehumanize everyone. Wow, your American soldiers have much more restraint than American cops. American soldiers are trained to calm down their conflicts. They can't just shoot. AJ, good morning. The man was clearly having an episode. So why is it educators and mental health staff are expected to disarm and restrain those having episodes without fault? If a person or student is injured, or worse, this ends their career or they are charged, yet cops get to murder without real consequences. That is true. That is true. You're right. Because I'm telling you, if a teacher or a mental health counselor was in this position and reacted excessively like this, oh baby, this is your job, you should know what to do. But for police officers, it's always an expected, like, well, it's the job given the nature. So you're right about that. A snowball would have taken him down at that. I mean, at this point, and his knife, he really is wielding a knife. He's a mental health. There could have been a better judgment here. Clearly, could have been a better judgment here. So that happened in Idaho. Now let's get into this next weird story. No video, so I'm going to give you the whole story in detail. All right. So girls saved from abduction by mouthing "This is not my dad" in Florida church. Let's get into this fucking crazy ass story. So these two girls, 16 and 15, they were at a restaurant, right? And so they left the restaurant riding their bikes. And this man, him, followed them out the restaurant and continued to follow them down this road, right? And picks up a rock and throws it at one of the girls in the back of the head, and she falls. So at this point, he's now trailing behind them, and he's telling them where to go. So then he leads them into a church. So the girls are in a church, and people can kind of tell something's off, but they're not really like, okay, whatever, it's a church. Well, one of the girls hugged one of the church members, the clergy, and said, "He's not my dad. Help us, please." And the church member stood back like, and so that's when they called the police officers, and they tried to gather around this man and keep him calm and keep him away from the girls. And so the two girls, they end up safe. They go to they go and get checked out. They all cleared. There was no sexual assault. By that time, he had done nothing sexually to them. He was literally trying to get them out. And so members of the church stepped up to protect the children that were not theirs. Following the 911 call, deputies quickly arrived and arrested Daniels. He has been charged with 2 counts of child abuse and 2 counts of false imprisonment. His bond was set to $104,000. Now, I bring this story up to say we got to be careful sending kids to restaurants and riding back home on bikes. And this occurred at around 6:52 in the evening. Why? I mean, I get it. People they do what they do. They in their own routines. But 2 young girls around that evening time going to a restaurant and then coming home, riding their bikes back home. That's heavy to me. So you got to be mindful. Even with young little boys, this man literally thought he was going to be able to get away with it at the church. You're leading them to a church. Thank God one of the girls whispered something and was very proactive about it and said something, because who knows what he would have done in this situation. I am so proud of this song. I am too. Very smart of her. Absolutely. So I wanted to share that story because that kind of stuff is happening out here in the world. All right. Now, moving on to the story I posted on my community wall, and it was so sad, and I got the video footage, so you all brace yourselves. So I shared this on my community wall. The Detroit father who was holding his baby at the gas station when the man's gun malfunctioned as he was trying to shoot him. Whew. Okay, so some details surrounding this story. So the man was walking with his baby, and I want to say the baby wasn't even months old. Wasn't even years old, was literally months old, 7-month-old baby. The man was walking to the store with his 7-month-old baby and got into an argument with this guy. Now, the guy, if any of you all know, I know, especially around my area, is one of them junkies. Okay, one of them, bitch, I said no, I ain't got no shit for you. Get the fuck out my face. Move the fuck on, bro. I'm not on that shit. You get your ass ran the fuck over type of niggas. He's one of those. It was one of those kind of situations. So apparently they got into an argument, and the dude was trying to attack him outside. No gun at this time. So the man was running to the nearest place for protection for him and his baby. So he ran into the store. So the guy ran after him into the store, and this is what we see. So I'm going to share this footage with you all. It's very, very, very sensitive, very graphic, because you actually see the man put his hand up to try to protect his baby. And I was like, oh my God, here we are crying and pleading for our black men to be fathers and to have their babies and shit. And then you get this black on black shit, this dumb shit. Shame on this fucking asshole dude. And I'm so glad his gun malfunctioned. Can you imagine had he shot and killed this man and the man with the baby? That shit would have tore me up. I wouldn't have been able to talk about the story. So let's get into this.
That saying, a picture speaks 1,000 words. What you're about to see does that and some. A dad holding his infant son gets a gun pulled on them just a few feet away.
It's just upsetting. It's difficult to watch. I mean, it's just no regard for human life or for the life of a child.
On Father's Day, no less. Surveillance photos of a man pointing a gun at a 25-year-old Detroit dad holding his 7-month-old baby boy. And then the video, you see the gunman in that khaki bucket hat marching into this Valero gas station at the corner of Hubble and Tireman.
About a block away from this location there at Tireman and Hubble, he had encountered this individual. It appears they had some type of argument.
Detroit Police Commander Michael Chambers says the two didn't know each other, no history there. You can see just as he pulls the gun 2 feet from Dad, he acts quick, hitting the gunman's arm and locks him outside. That's where green light surveillance video catches the gunman looking at the pistol, like maybe it jammed, and that's why it didn't fire.
We don't know if it was like a malfunction or like a stovepipe or some kind of way it just fortunately didn't go off.
The guy ran off but left behind perfect images that DPD posted to social media and sent to us.
I'm sure that we'll be getting a flood of calls coming in, and hopefully we can get them real soon.
And they did. By Monday afternoon, hours after releasing the suspect's photo, they arrested the gunman with the help of the public. No one was hurt in this very close call, but still, Detroit police are seeking felonious assault charges. Reporting on Detroit's west side.
Now, what in the fuck is wrong with people? What is wrong with you? You have got to be some kind of out your mind and off your meds to really think it's okay to shoot anyone holding a month-old baby, a 7-month-old baby. There's no ounce of humanity in you. You were that mad about whatever y'all got into, argument, scuffle outside, looking like a whole fucking junkie that just got out of jail. You look fresh out of jail, nigga. You're going right back from jail and right back, and you're the kind that need to stay there. Now, you didn't even kill or do nothing, but the mere act that you thought it was okay to do this shit tells me that you're not okay to be out here amongst the public population. You need to be locked up. Now, your ass need to be locked up. Lock your ass up. You fucking junkie. You illiterate. You slow ass. You can't even use your gun properly. I'm glad the fucking shit, man. You know, that was God. That was the Lord trying to tell you that this is not the right thing to do. Had you just shot that baby, it would have been way worse than what you're probably expecting to get now. What kind of dumb shit is that? I don't think there's any argument worth anything that you want to kill somebody holding their child. And then the biggest thing here is the graphic picture that was shared all online for us to see. Now, for me, I get that they wanted to share his image out into the public so that we can find the perpetrator. But my thing is, y'all got to stop doing that kind of shit for stuff that's dealing with just only us. Don't put out just these graphic fucking clips and pictures. Put out just his image and then let us get to the story. Just putting this shit out puts this picture like this black. Oh, they killing each other worse. Yeah, we know it. We see it. And we here to talk about it. But at the same time, I think it was totally inappropriate to have out here on all these fucking news channels and shit a picture of this man holding his fucking baby like that. You know why? Because it lives forever. That becomes forever ever. I'm always telling you all, there are certain stories where I cannot find the perpetrator in this story. They are hiding this man, but I'll find him. I tell y'all that I couldn't find a picture of him, but they're just using the name. Here, not only can you find a picture of the suspect, but the 7-month-old child being are you kidding me? So that was a little sensitizing to me, and I didn't want to be desensitized to stuff like that. So I was very shocked by that. I'm very glad that the man got arrested. Slow fucker. I hope you go to jail. I hope all forces work so against you. Full grown adults are getting abducted. Imagine kids. Voodoo. He hit her in the head and then they just followed him. Yes. He threw a rock at the girl in the head, fell off her bike. And at that point, the other girl stopped, and he was able to control them, and they just followed. They walked in front of him, but he was walking them to where they needed to go. This man multitasking, holding the baby, a cigarette in his mouth, and avoiding bullets. Look at God. The baby slept through it all. It's so sad. Again, that junkie needs to be eliminated. And on Father's Day, I saw the footage. This Pookie was probably so high that he didn't even realize that was real life. Sad as fuck. People act like this. Good, he got arrested. Should be attempted murder charges because of an argument. And I'm telling you, some of these junkies, you really cannot. You just got to be like, dog, I will run you the fuck over. I don't have nothing else for you. I told you I don't have no cash. I walk my dog with no cash. I had one junkie say, I got the Cash App. I literally had to stop and have a conversation with him. You got a Cash App? How you get a Cash App? Because they hand out these free fucking phones all the time from the government, and these motherfuckers down here downloading Cash Apps and shit. That means you got a bank account or something. What's going on? Like it's getting out of control. That is sick. God bless the father and baby. What could have been said so wrong that you want to take his life? Clearly, he's not. He's a junkie waving guns around. He shouldn't be outside breathing. Period. My good air. The good air. God said, not today, Pookie. It's Father's Day and Juneteenth. God was on his side. Hey, J Boss. Good morning. Good morning. I hate a junkie. I do too. I hate a junkie and I hate their stunts. So that was the Detroit story, and it was so sad to see. And I'm glad that this man is caught. Now, can you imagine? Let me see, where is this? Okay, so can you imagine this situation, this scenario? A 3-year-old boy found dead in a Massachusetts pond after disappearing from babysitter's yard. So picture it. You drop your baby off to your babysitter at 7 a.m. Not more than 15 fucking minutes later are you called back with police because they can't find your child. Then they find your child in the pond. When I told you, I said, wait, what? How is this? How does any of this happen? This doesn't even make sense. So let's get into this story. So Harry was last seen around 7:15 a.m. on Tuesday by a neighbor who told police they saw the boy in the babysitter's yard. He was reported missing about 15 minutes later. His disappearance came shortly after his parents dropped him off around 7 a.m. About 180 local police officers and firefighters aided in the search for the child, who his father had described to ABC affiliates as active, but he wasn't speaking. He likes to go outside. When he's at home, he goes to the yard and he plays. Let me see. Do I have a picture of him? Yeah, of the baby, a little boy, little baby. But he can't speak. He's trying to learn how to speak, but he can't talk. And so they were checking every area in the neighborhood to see if they could find him, but they weren't able to find him. So then finally, after looking, they were able to locate him sitting in the pond. And so what they're saying is the body of the missing child, identified by authorities as Harry, was found by a Massachusetts State Police diver in a pond on Wednesday. The pond was located at a Christmas tree farm about 650 feet away from the babysitter's home. This is obviously every parent's worst nightmare, a child who disappears for a very short period of time, the excruciating hours of search, and then the recovery of his body. And so they're still investigating what happened. In the statement, police wrote, their thoughts and prayers are with Harry's family during this difficult time. They're thankful for all of the law enforcement partners who helped during assistance of this search, and an investigation is still going on. And it's so sad. And to me, what makes this story so crazy is that I in the routine of dropping your child off to daycare at like 7 a.m., how does 7 a.m. and 15 minutes later they're outside playing in the yard? I just assume that, you drop them off at 7 a.m. breakfast time, they're in the house. I don't know. They're supervised. Where did this babysitter decide in those first 15 minutes of receiving this child that you can go outside and play unsupervised, and now you're in a pond? So I definitely am going to be staying attuned to more details. Nothing has been released yet. Nothing has been leaked about this. I got this story out of People Magazine because I saw it and I said, disappearing from babysitter's yard. I mean, how does that happen? And then I read more details and I'm like, the turnaround time is just so, in 15 minutes, the parent literally just drove down the road. All right, boo-boo. And then 15 minutes later, bitch, what were you doing? What's going on? I'm not saying bitch like just female, bitch, male, whoever was watching, what was going on? So I think we need way more details here in this story. Pookie got cash apps now, baby. They have it all. Listen, a man last week lit a woman on fire on the bus. The media is protecting him as well. No name or image either. You see? And that's crazy. I don't go downtown in my city anymore. The aggressive panhandling's out of control and they expect you to give them something. Yeah. And I just be in the days when I have attitudes, I can't wait. What? His eyes. Oh my God, so innocent. He is so cute. Poor baby. That babysitter was neglectful. How do you lose a toddler? Something is missing, Voodoo. neglect. And so they haven't released the babysitter's name, picture, the family's name. They haven't said that the family was pressing charges. They just said they're still conducting an investigation, which, here's my opinion, leads me to believe that the babysitter was a family member, and maybe an older family member, and that this is what is causing that little hesitant of going there with the charges. So that's why I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's somebody in the family and they're protecting. Still, at the same time, I wouldn't be protecting your ass. It's going to be an investigation out here or something. We need to know what's going on. And I would expect my family to do the same thing to me. So that's how I looked at it. 7 a.m. You dropped off your toddler. 7:30 a.m. You, the parent, are being told your toddler has drowned in a pond. This is so strange and sad. That's why I felt like, wow, it got to be a family member. And I don't want to feel like it's foul play on the part of the family. You know, like I don't want to even go there. So now we're going to get into the very, very sad parts of the story of today's show. So this man accused of killing ex-girlfriend's 9-year-old daughter has been denied bond. So get into this story here. This was a crazy one, a totally crazy one. So a Texas mom says she was watching in bed when her ex-boyfriend showed up to demand a TV he believed was his. And so then at the same time, he ripped the TV from the wall and then demanded her to give him his cell phone because he had accused her of dating someone else. And she says she gave him her cell phone and they continued to argue in her apartment. That's when she says he went to her back room where her children were. And the 29-year-old mom says she heard 2 gunshots before he left the bedroom. And so she found her daughter, her 9-year-old daughter, shot in the head, execution style. He then forced the mom to lay on the ground before shooting her in the shoulder. He then got in his car and drove away as she ran into the bedroom. Now the police says that they had broke up 2 months prior to the fatal argument, and that he was arrested on June 14th for capital murder and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. So they've created a GoFundMe for the daughter, who was an MVP star basketball player, and she loved creating TikTok videos. She was supposed to start 5th grade this fall. And so here is the young girl, Kylie. All of this because you're an insecure ass man. So he was denied bond. Clearly that they were broke up. So they were broke up sometime, and he was just trying to find his way to come over. He had been calling her and threatening her in the time leading up to this. Mind you, they had been broken up. So then he comes over under the auspices, I want to get my TV, and snatches the TV off the wall. And then goes for really what he wants is, you're cheating. You got a new nigga, even though we're not together. Takes her cell phone. Then I don't know if he finds messages or not, but goes in the back room and shoots the daughter. So I'm thinking, is this the daughter of another man that she possibly was on the phone texting? Are you trying to get back at her because you didn't kill her? So are you purposely trying to get back at someone? So sad, so fucking sad, such a sad story. And what kills me is that she had 2 kids and he only shot the one girl. So the other child had to watch the other daughter, the other sister, off execution style. I wish she would have gotten a restraining order on this guy. I wish she would have at least got a restraining order on this guy, or something, because I was trying to find signs like maybe, but there was nothing that was communicated to the police that there was any domestic violence history going on between these two in this house. Now, he has had a history, a criminal history, but in terms of them having a criminal history of them calling, none of that was there. These stories make me sick. Yeah, I had to save this next one is, I got the video footage of it. Some of the next story is just too crazy. I had to say that. That's our last story of the day. Very strange. These stories make me sick. Oh my God, this stuff happens too much. She should have never let him in. You don't hang on to nothing when there's a breakup. Give it all to them. Baby, I let the ex take all the furniture. I mean everything. Just go. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Baby, I'll let the ex take all the furniture. I mean, everything. Just go. When you are the obvious offender, bail should never be offered. Sit in jail until your trial. Violent offenders should not ever be given bail before their trial date. So I'm gonna stay tuned to this story because I want to see what he's been given. And if anyone wants to, let me put her GoFundMe in the chat. If anybody wants to go to the page, share it out, or look at it, or anything like that. This just don't make no sense. They've raised their goal, but if anybody just wants to, there you go. Rest in peace, Kylie. And I'm so sorry that this had to happen to you. Something that was in domestic in nature between a man and a woman. And to the mother, I know that you're probably hurting losing a child. But I hope that out of all of this, the one thing that you do gain is a sense of how to deal with men in relationships moving forward. Because I can't speak because I don't know, but I hope this helps you in some way. And I hope he gets his ass beat in jail. I hope he gets. I was learning some shit yesterday. I hope he be looking in somebody's window and get offed. So yeah, very, very sad. Hey, Miss Margot, it's good to see you, Miss Margot. Before you go, I wanted to update you on UVDALE. They're tearing the school down. What? So they're tearing you? That is absolutely. I fucking agree 100%. Thank you for telling me that. I'm gonna share that on my community wall. Wow. Yes, I think that's the best thing that happened. All right, let's get into this last story. So this mother was gunned down while holding her baby, and video shows the daycare worker intervening. Let's get into this story. So this lady, young woman, young mother, was taking her daughter to daycare, was picking up her daughter from daycare. Hold on. Because my hold on. Give me 1 second, y'all. Shit. All my tabs just left me. Why? Okay. All right, I got it up. Sorry about that. All right, so she was taking her daughter to daycare, picking up her daughter from daycare, and the baby daddy came ambushing up behind her. I want to see my daughter. I want to see my daughter. So the daycare worker was like, "Ma'am, just come on the inside. Just come on the inside." And so he was telling her like, "I don't give a fuck what y'all do. Y'all already gonna call the police. I already got a warrant. She gonna die or I'm gonna die. We both gonna die anyways." And so the mother, she was like, "Just let me go. Just let me go. I got it. Now, mind you, they have had history of him jumping on her, beating her up to the point where he's been called the cops. Her family has called the cops on him for her several times. So there's already been a history of this. Well, the guy takes her and the baby around the back of the daycare in some wooded area, and he kills her. He shoots her. And then he gets in his car and drives off and flees the scene. So let's get into this story. This shit right here had me like, why are we doing this to each other? What's going on?
clock a horrifying backstory to a shooting death of a young mom outside of a daycare center in DeKalb County while the baby was still in her arms.
Her family telling on John Shearing that her estranged boyfriend, now charged with murder, had been abusing her, but the courts kept releasing him.
For 21-year-old Micaiah Montgomery, her baby Chloe, her greatest joy, her baby's father, her greatest fear.
And had they locked him up and put him away, she would probably still be here.
Shanciera Coleman, describing what she's learned about her sister Micaiah's last moments of life Wednesday afternoon. How Micaiah's estranged boyfriend, Chloe's father, 22-year-old Taco Nash, violated a protective order and confronted Micaiah at Chloe's daycare center and drew a gun and forced Micaiah and Chloe out and pulled them into some woods in back and shot and killed Micaiah.
He called my other sister and he said, "I'm sorry, I killed her."
With Chloe in her arms. Police arresting him soon after. Coleman says Nash had even shot Micaiah once before in August 2020 when she was pregnant.
Yeah, he stood over her and shot her.
But he got out of jail after that. Coleman says the courts in Fulton and also DeKalb counties kept releasing Nash from jail after every assault against Micaiah. Micaiah and Chloe had moved in with her aunt, Jasmine Walters, hoping to hide from Nash, but he still found her.
Flabbergasted to the entire family that they kept allowing him to keep getting out. The justice system completely failed her.
Nash is now in jail, charged with murder this time. Micaiah's worst premonition and fears, and theirs, they say, came true.
I just hope that they are held accountable. They didn't do their job, which is to protect and to serve.
In DeKalb County, John Sherrick, 11 Alive News.
So, to know that this man had been going to jail all those times, all those separate occasions, and they continuously let him out. I don't know if she was going there to save, but I always assumed that they would keep them in jail. So check out what the daycare had to say.
We turn now to a Fox 5 exclusive. A daycare worker who tried to help a young mother before she was shot and killed is sharing her story tonight.
DeKalb police say Micaiah Montgomery was shot and killed behind the daycare building with her daughter in her arms. They have arrested the baby's father, Taco Nash, and charged him with murder and other charges.
Fox 5's Anjali Proctor talked exclusively to a woman who tried to help that young mother that fateful day.
Micaiah Montgomery actually caught a bus to pick up her daughter Chloe from the daycare center behind me. Once she got that daughter, police and her family says she was ambushed by her daughter's father, who ultimately shot and killed her, according to them. Tonight, we talk with the woman who intervened and tried to help Michaela that day.
She was saying, "Just calm down, Taco, like not in front of the kids." She said, "Please, please." She just kept saying that, "Please, not in front of the kids."
Daycare worker Cassandra says Micaiah Montgomery begged for her life last week, but suspect Taco Nash just kept threatening to kill her. Montgomery rushed back into the daycare for protection, as the surveillance video shows. The employee says she tried to keep Nash, who had on an ankle monitor, out, but he pushed through.
The whole time I'm trying to calm him down, talk to him and say, "Just leave." He was like, "No, y'all already called the police." I said, "Just leave. I won't tell your name."
I want to go back to that footage of them arguing. So look at this again. Just the footage right here.
Kept threatening to kill her. Montgomery rushed back into the daycare for protection, as the surveillance video shows. The employee says she tried to keep Nash, who had on an ankle monitor, out, but he pushed through.
The whole time I'm trying to calm him down, talk to him and say, "Just leave." He was like, "No, y'all already called the police." I said, "Just leave. I won't tell your name. Just if you just leave now, it'll be okay. Just go. And he goes to the point of saying, like, "No, I already got a warrant. Y'all already called the police, and I'm ready to risk it all."
Cassandra said she tried to talk Nash down for at least 10 minutes inside the daycare, where 40 children were inside. She stood between the two as they waited on DeKalb police.
"I told you, I'm killing you, killing me and her." And I said, "But wait, what?"
He said he was going to kill the baby.
Him, the baby, and her.
The employee says the tense moments ended when Nash pulled out a gun.
"All right, ma'am, just let me go peacefully and I won't shoot you and all these damn kids." All I did was close my eyes for 2 seconds and just turn around, but I could feel Micaiah pulling my shirt saying, "Please don't leave me, he's going to kill me."
The 41-year-old mother of 6, who is also raising 3 nieces, said she thought about her own family and moved out of the way. Police say Nash took Micaiah behind the daycare and shot and killed her.
You can hear her screaming back to the back, like, y'all, please help me, no taco, till at least 3 minutes after that, she jumped that fence.
That daycare employee is still fearful and says she really cannot come back to work yet. She says now she plans to get counseling for herself.
Very sad story, very, very sad story. And it just kills me that so many young girls deal with this so often and so to the point where it's like a regular thing, you know, to be dealing with a man that you expect to be loving you, you love him, but you can't get out of this cycle of violence. I think I shared this with you all before, but I do have a family member, my cousin, not my cousin, but somebody in my family that I grew up with, and have lost all contact with her, and she's going through that same thing to this day. And cousin, just know that whenever I get a chance, or whenever you can reach out to me, please reach out to me. I just want to talk to you. I haven't talked to her in years. But to know that this is really a thing, where men, to the point where it's a control thing, they are dealing with their own shit. And the only way to gain control or leverage or to validate you are that man or whatever, you have to go and harm and kill someone. So this man has been arrested and already had warrants, already had all this stuff, already shot her. He clear, I don't know what kind of love he may have thought he was given, but that wasn't love at all. Being held now in the DeKalb County Detention Center without bond, which is what he needed to be. He should have been there without bond. Now she had to lose her life for it to be known that he was a repetitive violent offender, a repeat of violent offender. It kills me to know that she was trying to run and jump the fence, and she was saying, no taco, not right now, not in front of the kids. And those are things that she could have meant. She's been saying repeatedly all this time in a violent relationship. All that shit bothers me. I just thinking, like, I can never really picture some people actually going through that kind of stuff. So this was a very sad story, and I wanted to end on this. Just as be aware that people are going through all kinds of things. And I think a common thing we've been seeing today in today's stories are people trying to express that they need help, from the driver in the story, from the driver being held hostage in Florida, to the man whose family called for mental health and he ended up getting shot, to, what was the other story? I forgot the other story, but this story as well included the girls being abducted. That was the other story, where the girls being abducted and they whispered signs into her, really grabbing that woman's shirt. Please don't leave me. Please don't leave me. All of these little things, all of these signs where people are expressing that I'm in dire straits and dire needs. I think we really need to start honing in on that, and being more protective of our folks. Not saying that this woman could have put her life in danger. She did what she could, but she let her go because she was thinking about her own family. I don't want to die. I don't want to get shot and killed. And you got to respect that. So should we be considering that now they need to have security officers there for these one-time things? Now let's go the other way. Why the fuck do you think police officers in the court systems continuously let people out like this? I don't want to think that she went and said it's okay, or she removed a petition, or because clearly there was a protective order here. So what would be the reason that they would find valid enough to continuously letting this man out back on the streets to continuously harm this woman? That's what I don't understand. I'm confused by that part of it. Like, nothing. The third time, because that was when he shot her, was the third time. Then there was some subsequent times after that, and then now she gets shot again, but she's killed this time. Then he had nerve to ask me, did I want to come to his new apartment? I said no. I might turn to the telling devil if I see all my ish sitting up in there. You set me up. Women start taking these men seriously. UVDALE is a clear example of cops failing to do the right thing. Instead of a proper investigation, they are going to tear the school and keep their chief of police who didn't care. Look at that demon. The law is not here to help you. Protect yourself. Did they say Taco Nash? Sometimes you have to judge a book by the cover. That man looks evil, and I would never do anything with a man that looks wild and demonic. At some point, she needed a gun herself. That's so true, Voodoo. Hey, Miss Margot, this is sad. It really is. It really is sad. It's sad on so many levels to know that she caught the bus to go pick up her baby. First of all, wow, and this man went to the daycare where other kids was. He was that hot about what was going on. How he got out of jail the first time. She should have unalived him after she got shot the first time, and the law failed her while she was pregnant. He stood over her and shot her. He's probably a mumble rapper looking all dirty. Look at his hair. While he had a whole ankle monitor on. DeKalb County. So now we just going to put ankle monitors on people, and we're not going to monitor the coming and going. Where were the rest of the workers? Probably inside trying to maintain the kids. I'm from DeKalb County, and this happens all too often. So it's a state where you can carry a gun. How come everyone in the states has a gun until they actually needed it? I'm so mad. That is so true, AJ. I always say that too. I'm like, damn. Very tragic. This was a clear textbook case of domestic violence. He been trying to kill her since she got pregnant. The cops just felt her greatly. Toxic love. And you know the family definitely has a case here. Toxic love is not love at all. He shot her while pregnant and he got away. He got out anyway. He shouldn't have had access to guns after shooting her in the belly. Pregnant. Why wasn't he in jail for attempted murder back then? They need more security everywhere, apparently. Hey, Robert. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for coming through. Yes, isn't that 2 charges of attempted murder since she was pregnant? Now, all of a sudden, he has no bail, no bond, waiting on the law is suicidal. She needed a gun. Even if she did remove the protection, she's an abused person, so the state should take over. He looked demonic. There are tons of repeat violent offenders walking around Atlanta. Assault cases are a joke, and GA's generally assembly is a joke. How long does it take the probation folks to know you've left your house? That's what I was wondering. Like, is it instantaneously what goes off? Oh, you live in DeKalb County. Did you all hear about this story in DeKalb? Did you all hear about it? What is sad is that she had no males in her family that could have given protection. The women weren't enough. That's true. No bigger brother, no older brothers, or we don't even know the situation because we had the other story where the family had called. Which story was that? The man shoots the 9-year-old. The family had called the police on him because of domestic violence. So it's like sometimes the family just be doing just enough to protect you, and that's it. You did. It's crazy. That's a crazy, and several others just like it. That's crazy. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. Y'all. All right. So that is all I have for you all today. Let me do a little rundown. Today we covered nicotine. Biden is going to attempt to regulate this, but he can't fully regulate it because there's still some loopholes. So this is like a 1 to 2 to 3 year process. Transgender swimming ban went into effect June 22nd, which is today, and it creates a list of criteria as well as an open league for those who don't meet that criteria to play in. Brittany Griner, Russia comes out and said they're not holding her hostage, but she is a lawbreaker, as well as her phone call with her wife has been rescheduled after the State Department assembly, the assembly in Russia was unmanned to receive the call. Stacey Abrams appears to be holding strong in her race and bid to become the governor. She's promised $50,000 if she's elected. They're saying that the polls are looking good. She has her running mate Kemper has a 5-point lead over her, as well as everybody that she's endorsed has won in their primary runoffs, which is all good signs. However, we still have a lot more to go, so let's just be mindful. Sanford, Florida, we talked about this arrest. The team came out and made a statement. I'm glad he spoke well and gave his side of the story, as well as we realized Howard Hughes was fired from his McDonald's job over this incident. Shame, shame, shame on you. The UVDALE update, we talked about how that it took them 1 hour and 14 minutes when it could have took them a total of 3 minutes to get in and actively take down the shooter, but they were waiting on some key that they didn't have to do. The chief comes out to say that shouldn't be responsible for it. And then we found out in the chat from Voodoo that they're tearing down UVDALE, the school. So I will try to bring some updates on to you on that next week on our update local news next Wednesday at 6:30. We talked about the racist pastor who called for gay people to be shot in the head. We also talked about Florida driver held at gunpoint, alerted police by speeding, which I said was a good thing. We talked about the rapist who is now receiving child support, has been ordered to pay child support, and how we think this is a cover up in the city. Like something is going on that's not right there. She was raped at 16. Clearly it was wrong. And now all of a sudden he gets full custody. All of that? No, something ain't right about that. Oh, let me turn this off. I'm in here burning up. We talked about Idaho, how the Idaho officer pulled up to a scene to deal with a call for a mental health assistance with a sister's brother. They arrive on scene. They, after exchanging words, they shoot him excessively. And that's not really it. What happens is after that, they're recorded on camera saying all kinds of things. Check out the video clip in the earlier part of the show. We talked about the 3-year-old who was found dead in the pond after being dropped off only 15 minutes earlier. And then 15 minutes later, he was found dead. So rest in peace to you as well. And I hope more details come out about that story. The Detroit father and son, we talked about this as well, how the gun malfunctioned as the man was trying to shoot and kill, it appeared, this 7-month-old baby with his father. Mind you, they got into an argument outside the store and he decides to follow him, a junkie, in the store. Nigga, if I told you I ain't got $10, I ain't got $10, but you got a gun though, you can do something else with that. You know, what the fuck you in my face for? We talked about the girls who were abducted. And so the man followed these 2 girls out of a restaurant around 6:59 p.m. at night, threw a rock at one of the girls' heads who was riding a bike. Once she fell, he made the 2 girls walk to the nearest church. He went into the church with the girls. The girls hugged one of the clergymen and said into the ear of the clergyman, he's not our dad, please save us. And that's when they were saved. So kudos and shout out to the girls who were saved from their abductor. We talked about the man who shot the 9-year-old. We wrapped up that story. The man who shot the 9-year-old daughter. He got into an argument with the mom. They broke up weeks prior. He went over to the house, snatched the TV out the wall, took her phone, then went in the back room and shot the 9-year-old execution style, and later was apprehended. Sad story. And we also talked about the mother who was gunned down while holding her baby at the daycare, while picking her baby up from this man who was a repeat violent offender who had also shot her while she was pregnant. Such a sad, sad story. 2 stories that I didn't talk about, I'm just going to throw right in here, is one, Disney employee was caught among 12 men accused of soliciting children online for sex. We'll get into that next week because Disney got some issues going on around that, as well as Florida principal brought loaded guns into the school. And so we'll get into that next week as well. So thank you all so much for being here. They don't do enough to abusers. I know where we receive notification when offenders violate their home monitoring and we can track their whereabouts. Oh, really? I need that. You got to sign up. Regulate nicotine, but gave crackhead starter packs. I thought it was a quick and timely situation, but something is going on down there. I hope they don't steal the election from Stacey again. I hope so. I'm gonna stay tuned. We're gonna start following it. And if it's a stay away order, we make sure we have the victim's address to make sure the offender is nowhere near the victim's address. Oh, wow. I know as a public citizen, I can track the SAs and pedos, but that has not been as trustworthy as the government says. We get many pop-up offenders from other provinces and cities who are undocumented. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Hey, Lena D. Love your news and media. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And good morning. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for being here. Thank you. What a morning for news. I'm just bringing it to you all. I'm bringing it to you all. My God. Hey, Queen Diva. Whew. I can't wait for next week. Baby, can you remember I'm talking about at work. Oh, at work. Oh, okay. Because I was finna sit here and say, what? Disney has always had, yeah, we're gonna get into that because not only is that a situation, that's another whole. Apparently, they got a whole little sex ring going on down there. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I will see you all Friday at 6:30 a.m. for Hot Topics, local news, all things to be considered. I don't even know what we're gonna talk about yet, but I'll come up with it. And then I'm going to. I was on Duchess Kelly's live yesterday. I was saying that I had did a Beyonce reaction video. It was like 2 minutes, but in there I put 41 seconds of the song, and Beyonce's team snatched that bitch down. If you know anything, you upload it, it uploads, and then it processes, and then after it processes, it goes out. Well, I didn't even get through processing. It uploaded, and then it said, "No, bitch, not today. We already know that it's not gonna work." And I got my email, so I'm gonna re-edit that video, upload it, and it's just my reaction to the song. But of course, I like it. Then I'm gonna do the our hot topics on Wednesday, and then hopefully next Wednesday we're gonna have a special guest. And shout out to you, happy birthday to you, sir. Happy birthday to you. I know it's your birthday. I hope you enjoy your day and have a great day. And I hope we get to have you on local news with us next week. As we do this. And so thank you all. Disney has always had a lot of issues, just like Nickelodeon subliminals and Disney movies and Nickelodeon TV shows. Good live. Thank you, Miss Margot. Have a good one. You too, Joe. On another note, last night live was great. Thank you, Miss Toby. I had so much fun. First of all, I was fucked up. I didn't realize it until I looked at myself on the replay. I was like, mind you, I came from work. I went to a mixer, networking with a bunch of people, and then I came home and then got right into it. So but I definitely enjoyed myself with y'all last night. Oh my God, did you see D Ramsey dancing to it? Where at? Oh my God, I gotta go see it. Have a great day. You too. Oh, I gotta go see on. Okay, I got some things to do. I'm gonna look at it. Love you too. Last night was funny as hell. Tay is something else. Tay gonna be over here. He gonna be over here. He gonna be over here. I could look at you and tell you were faded. Very faded. Very faded. All right, y'all. I hope y'all have a great day at work or whatever you're doing. And to the replay gang, thank you so much for being here. And you all, please hit the like button. Please share. Please subscribe. And until next time, it's been my pleasure. Deuces. Good morning. Thank you for being here this morning.
Let's go. Oh, let's start this show. King Roman news gonna come right through, gonna give you that news just like you know he can do. Hot topics in your face, baby. King Roman knows his place, baby. King Roman news. Good morning. 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, baby. He's gonna come right on time with the news just for you. Celebrity news, politics, and local news just for you. King Roman news. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Let's go. Hey, let's start this show. King Roman news, coming just for you. King Roman news, coming just for you. 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, Monday,